Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to another Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth Early Access Draft. Thanks again to Wizards of the Coast for this promotional Early Access account, and without further ado, let's get into the draft. This is gonna be a pick one, pack one Sauron the Necromancer here. 5 mana for a 4/4 menace. Whenever Sauron attacks, exile a creature from a graveyard, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 with menace. And at the beginning of your next end step, exile it unless it's your ring bearer. So even if Sauron is not your ring bearer, that is so much damage coming in with menace. This card is super sweet, so we do want to draft around it a bit, get some ways to tempt the ring to turn Sauron into our ring bearer. If you haven't seen the Ring Tempts You mechanic before, basically cards will just say the ring tempts you, maybe when it enters the battlefield, maybe when it deals damage, something like that. And when the ring tempts you, you get to choose one of your creatures to be your ring bearer. So all we need is to draft some cards that say the ring tempts you on them, and that is how we're going to turn Sauron into our ring bearer. And your ring bearer gets better and better the more times the ring tempts you. So every time the ring tempts you, you choose any of your creatures to be the ring bearer. And the first time you do it, that creature will be legendary, can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. The second time, that creature will also be able to draw you cards and discards a card when it attacks. The third time, it's going to force your opponent's blockers to get sacrificed, so on and so forth. Very sweet stuff. So, Stalwarts of Osgiliath is one of the most expensive and dirtily ways to tempt the ring, so I don't think I'm going to take that here. We could take Grond. Grond seems decent, because if you control an army, Grond is just a 4-mana 5/5 trample during your turn. You could also take Lash of the Balrog as decent removal. I think nothing off-color is super strong. I do like Protector of Gondor and Fiery Inscription, but I don't think any of those are like strong enough to head in that direction. I'm going to stick to black, take Grond the Gatekeeper. So this works with the Amass mechanic in the format. So we're going to be taking, for example, Gothmog out of this pack, and that has the Amass mechanic. So when this hits the board, we amass Orcs 1. So if we don't currently control an army, we make a 0/0 army and put a +1/+1 counter on it. If we do already have an army, we just put another counter onto it. So Gothmog, super sweet card, works with that Amass mechanic that gives us the armies for Grond to also be able to attack easily. Let's take a Gothmog, go from there. We are very tied to black. We can choose our second color based on what gets passed to us here. Rise of the Witch King seems pretty strong. 4 mana, each player sacks a creature. If you sacrificed a creature this way, you get to return a permanent from your grave to the battlefield. I guess there's a lot of tokens in the format, so it's pretty bad against decks with a lot of 1/1s, 1/1 human tokens and 1/1 spirit tokens and stuff, but this is a pretty cool card that could be pretty fun in the right deck. And I don't think any of these cards are super good in black, so we're going to branch into a second color here. And I think it's better than like Bombadil's Song, which is the only way to tempt the ring off color here. I guess the Guardian also tempts the ring, or has the ring tempt you. It's so weird to say it that way, that it's like the ring is tempting you, but you're the one playing a card that makes the thing happen. Yeah, we'll take the Rise of the Witch King here. All right, I don't know if I'm going to stick to green, because this card has some really powerful off-color cards, or this pack. There's an Athelian Kingfisher out of blue, which is a great value play. A 2/1 flyer is a good evasive threat, and when it dies, you draw a card to replace itself. We've also got an Errand Rider of Gondor, which if we have a legendary on board, then it's just a 3-mana 3/2 that draws a card that's super good. And we can have a legendary on board by having a Gothmog, a Crude Grond, or a Sauron on board. Or if we just have a ring bearer on the board, your ring bearer is also, as you can see on level 1, a legendary. So this is a really consistent piece of card draw, and I think white is one of the cheapest or quickest colors at tempting the ring. So black-white does feel like a really good color pair for Sauron if we head in that direction. We've got a Mordor Muster for a really cheap way to get an Orc Army started, and it draws us a card too, which is great. And there's also Grima Wormtongue, though, which is really fun. If you have a lot of ways to tempt the ring, you could keep making your Orc Army legendary, and then sacrifice it to chip your opponent for 1, and then get a new Orc Army, and then just make it legendary again, sack it, get a new Orc Army. So that's pretty cool, potentially. It's also legendary straight up, which is great with Errand Rider of Gondor. Probably supposed to take Mordor Muster here, but I'm going to take Grima Wormtongue. She's pretty fun. Pretty interesting. Or he, I have no idea. They're pretty fun. I don't know the lore well enough. Take a Dunlin Crebain here, which is a great way to amass, and again, we're just super tied to black. Sam's Desperate Rescue, definitely good in a Sauron deck, because we want the ring to tempt us. So that's a good card, but Dunlin Crebain's just too good and too efficient for its mana cost. 3 mana for a 1/1 flyer plus amass 2. Very good deal. 3 power and toughness for 3 mana. Some of it's in the sky, which is great. I don't know if I want a second Grond. It'd be really bad to have your Gronds die to the legend rule. And Grond is already a lot cooler than it is powerful. It's strong enough, but not like super, super powerful. I think I'll go for a Now for Wrath, Now for Ruin as another way to have the ring tempt us. And if we get a lot of token production, it's a decent card, giving our board vigilance and everything. But we need a really wide board state for it to be great. Snarling Warg's pretty good if you have consistent ways to have an Orc on board, like all of your Amass cards make an Orc Army in this format. So 4 mana, 4/4 mana is not bad. The Ungol Patrol is not bad either. This is a really good sacrifice outlet, but it's also a 5 mana card, so it's pretty expensive, and you do not have a room for a lot of 5 drops. Don't have room for a lot of 4 drops either, so I guess whichever one we take. Pretty good card, but pretty expensive. I guess I could take Stalwarts of Osgiliath now. Another way to have the ring tempt us. It's a 5 mana way though, so I don't think it'll make the cut. Fiery Inscription, not that good in red-black, but it does have the ring tempt us for cheap if we go red-black. It feels like Stalwarts of Osgiliath is more likely, but neither are particularly likely. Alright, the Black Breath. There's a lot of 1/1s, 2/1s, 3/1s, all that kind of stuff in the format, so this usually can kill 1 or 2 cards. Sometimes it's ridiculous, and it always has the ring tempt us, which is something we can use. And I think we're starting to look pretty committed to black-white. I mean, we're still just 100% on black. Nothing else is a guarantee. This is like really good, isn't it? Mount Doom. So it's a black-red mana fixer. We have to shoot ourselves in the face every time we use it, though. But then if we get 7 mana... Oh, we have to have a legendary artifact on board. We could sacrifice Grond to destroy everything but 2 creatures. Do I have any other legendary artifacts? That is so funny that I can do that with Grond. I think I'm gonna rare draft this, even though I only have 1 card to work with it right now. Ah, no, there's a Reprieve. Reprieve is sick. If you can, on turn 4, if you play a 2-mana creature and hold up Reprieve and then bounce whatever they play, that's such a good deal. I'll take Reprieve over Mount Doom, but I'm tempted. If we were black-red, I'd take the Mount Doom and try to do it, but it would be a speculative pick right now where it's like, if I get pushed to black-red, then I'll try to do it. When I'm currently black-white, you know? It's like a double risky thing. I'm definitely going to take Claim the Precious here. This is a ridiculously good removal spell. 3 mana to destroy a creature, and the ring tempts you. Beautiful to work with our Sauron. Definitely love that. There's also a Shire Terrace for fixing. Ogluk for heading to red-black. This just sits there and gets real big real quick as your creatures die, especially with goblins and orcs. But Claim the Precious is a phenomenal removal spell, and that's what we'll take. I think I need to get some 2-mana cards in this deck, 2-mana creatures. Right now I have 1 Reprieve, which is not a creature. It's not something I'm even going to cast on turn 2. My mana curve is really high up. I have 4 4-mana cards and 3 4-mana cards and 3 5-mana cards already. So even though Gothmog is quite good, I think it's more important to actually get some 1 and 2 mana cards so that we're not just doing absolutely nothing early in the game. So here I'm going to take Mordor Muster or Westfold Rider. I think both of these are pretty good. It's just nice to have main deckable artifact and enchantment removal, and then the Muster, just nice to get your army started early. I'll take the Muster. We've got Grond. I'm going to make sure I've got plenty of ways to get Grond activated without having to crew him. There is not much going on here in black and white, is there? Lash of the Balrog's pretty good, though. 5 mana to destroy anything is kind of slow, but it can be fine. The big part that's really good about this is you can sack your, like, 1/1 army or a random 1/1 token and do it, so I'll take the Lash. I don't think East Farthing Farmer seems super good. The red cards are good. Swarming of Moria, Book of Mazerbool, these are both great for red-black. I guess I have two pretty filler white cards. I really just have Errand Rider of Gondor and Reprieve towards this, but I'll definitely play a Lash of the Balrog no matter what, and it's only an if I move to red to play Book of Mazerbool, so I'll take the Lash. I think I would have taken the book over a decent white card there. Golem's Bite is great cheap removal. 1 mana, -2/2 at instant speed, and later you can just spend 4 to have the Ring Tempt You when you've got nothing else to do, which is good with Sauron. We really want Sauron to be our ring bearer, so I'm going to take Golem's Bite. Taking it over a 2-mana creature, which is a bit rough because we need those, but I'm super happy to take it over another Grond or a Torment of Golem. Those are good cards, but they're also 4 mana, and I've got a lot of those. Alright, another excellent 2-mana creature. Easterling Vanguard's a 2-mana 2/1. When it dies, you get to amass Orcs 1, so you get your army started or you make your army a little bigger. Very nice. Very, very nice. Alright, we're pretty committed to black-white. I'm going to cut this Rise of the Witch King. I haven't seen a lot of great green cards, so even if I do get pushed off of white and into another color, I don't think it's going to be green. I think we'll be like black-red. Red has been, yeah, the most open color in this draft pod from this direction, from the left. I guess I can play an East Farthing Farmer. I'm not super excited about it, but it is what it is. It's filler. Do we have enough legends for Mirror of Galadriel, though? Oh, it doesn't say on this menu. 1, 2, 3, 4. I might try Mirror of Galadriel. I've never tried this card before. It's generally really slow, but the more legends you have, the less that it costs. If we have 2 or 3 legends on board, 2 mana to scry 1 draw card's a pretty good deal. Trebuchet's fine. Mirkwood Bats is good if you've got a lot of token production and token sack. Both of these seem just fine more than anything. I'm going to take the Mirkwood Bats. I've been pretty unimpressed by the Bats. I thought it was going to be a little better, but the token production has ended up being pretty slow. And the armies have really ended up getting a lot bigger than they have, like, constantly getting replaced. So instead of, like, get a 1/1 sack it, then get a 2/2 sack it, then get a 1/1 sack it, so on, it kind of just feels like a lot of the time you're just getting a bigger and bigger army. I don't know what I want here. All these are pretty filler. Take an Uglook. Don't think I'm heading that way. Take a Haunt of the Dead Marshes. I don't think I'm going to want multiple copies of this, even though I like tempting the ring. Or having the ring tempt me. I will never say that correctly. Let's get our 1/1. Get a little lower on the mana curve here. You know what? Lembas is fun. I'm definitely not going to play the Grey Havens. I'll take a Lembas. I'm probably going to cut it, but 2 mana, scry 1, draw a card for any deck, and then you just eat the food and shuffle it back into your deck to redraw it again later. It's just cute. It's just fun. I just enjoy it. Talk about a blank pack. Wow. I mean, there's strong cards for like green-red with Strider and Aomer. But we opened up a pack with some bad black and white cards. We do not have enough humans for the Dundane Blade. We've got 5. I guess this is okay. Definitely not like a pack 1 pick. Neither is the Haunt of the Dead Marshes. Well, sometimes it's like that. I'll take the Shire Terrace here. I'm just going to take Fixing. I feel like both of those black and white cards are just going to wheel. They'll come back to us in the draft pod. Well, I did just take Fixing. Could try to splash in Aragorn. Aragorn doesn't do anything by himself. You have to play something else that has the Ring Tempt You. But then Aragorn does some real strong stuff. Yeah, again, it's just a Soldier of the Grey Host and a Sam's Desperate Rescue. I think Desperate Rescue would be good in here, but I'll speculate on Aragorn. I'm not even sure I'm splashing him in. But the pack was weak enough, it's not that hard to speculate. Do not have room for more 4-drops. And there's no good 1/2 mana creatures. I guess I just take another Haunt of the Dead Marshes. Not very into that card. The off-color cards there were not worth splashing. Okay, I do like March from the Black Gate. I think this thing has looked really scary the few times that I've seen it. People talking about it and streaming with the card. Looks really good. If you've got some other Amass, like if I play this turn 2 and I play the Crebain turn 3, then I attack with it as a 4/4 on turn 3, and it just keeps rolling with any other Amass. This March from the Black Gate didn't look too great the first time I saw it, but it has been a big overperformer. Alright, Bowmasters is phenomenal. 2 mana for 2 1/1s at instant speed and 1 damage to any target. That is the worst case scenario, and that's very good in draft. Best case scenario, your opponent plays some extra card draw, and then it pops off. You get even more damage and more Orc amassing. So great card. Sad to have to take it over Lash of the Balrog, but it's definitely better than Lash of the Balrog. Okay. Orcish Medicine's really good if you have a very big Orc army. You can get a huge life gain swing, giving it lifelink till end of turn and amassing again. Not the most flexible thing ever, though, and I don't have a lot of removal, so I'm going to take Lash of the Balrog over the combat trick for Orcs. Oh, wow. Destroy all non-legendaries. I actually don't think this is going to kill a lot of creatures that often. This might just be bad. That might be why it's getting past this late. I'm going to try it, though. It's a rare. We got to try it, because we'll have many or much less opportunities to play this than we will the commons, like the Tempt the Ring card there. The Ring Tempts You. The Ring Tempts You card. Let's take a 2-mana 2/2. I think I'm just going to drop the Aragorn. I'm not going to play like Shire Scarecrow for fixing. I think our deck looks pretty strong in just 2 colors. I mean, it looks strong in 1 color, let's be honest. Can I just be mono black Sauron? That's definitely not a thing, but I can make it a thing. I'm kind of in a silly mood after our last draft with that super spicy blue-red deck. I might try to go mono-colored Sauron. Be pretty fun. Cut the Black Breaths. And get another 2-drop in here, even if it is a 2-drop trick kind of thing. It's kind of sort of a creature too. Cut the Ambush. I feel like I cut Lembas as well. What's the legend count? Oh, I forgot, it just doesn't tell me. I'll have to check in the deck builder, but maybe we're mono black Sauron. That's super cool flavorfully, but probably not where we actually want to be. But we didn't get that many great white cards. Ooh, another Orcish Medicine. I think I like that better than the Shalob's Ambush in here. I mean, this looks like a real deck. This doesn't look like a fake deck. We don't have a lot of cheap cards, but we have more than it looks like. This is also a 2-mana creature. This is also a 2-mana creature. So 1, 2, 3, 4 2-mana creatures, not 2 of them. Even the Orcish Medicines are kind of like creatures. What is the legendary count? We have to count our number of legends and the number of ways we have to have the ring tempt us. So Sauron, 1 ring to rule them all. Grond, Gothmog, Grima Wormtongue, Claim the Precious, and Golem's Bite. So 7 legends or ways to tempt the ring. 5 mana scry 1 draw card is just way too slow. 7 isn't that many creatures to synergize with it. We're at 12 creatures, 14 non-creatures. However, 12, 13, 14, kind of 15 with Grond. Okay, well, I definitely can't cut creatures, but I'm not that worried about how low the creature count is because we've got all the amassing going on. I'm going to try out the Mirror of Galadriel over the Lembas, but depending on how consistently we have legends on board, Lembas might just be better. Just cheaper, just immediately scry one, draw one, instead of as a massive mana sink. Cut the Lembas. Cut an ambush. One more card. I could cut a land because I'm never worried about being stuck off of a certain color. So it's not like cutting down to 16 lands brings me from 9-8 to 8-8. Drops me from 9 sources of my main color to 8 sources of my main color. If I have 5 lands, I can play every spell in my deck, period. Our curve's kind of high though. Average 2.7, well, not horrible. You know what? Let's 16 land it up. And try to get some mileage out of the scry towards lands and stuff like that. Alright, weird deck. Weird deck, but okay. Again, if I'm playing white, I'm getting Errand Rider of Gondor and Reprieve, which are pretty good, and then just like some filler. So I don't even know if that's worth not having the simplest mana base in the universe to put those in. We'll just go for the simplest mana base in the universe. 16 land mono black Sauron. That is the deck. Alright, here we have a look at the final deck list for today. We're going to be mono black Sauron, the deck. Looks really, really fun. Just by the end of the draft, we were drafting black, white, the Ring Tempts You, legendary, kind of an archetype. And then we only had like 2 really good white cards in the end, so I was like, let's just go full on mono black. Kind of cool to do that with Sauron. So the big build around the strongest bomb in the deck is Sauron the Necromancer. Even if Sauron is not the Ring Bearer, if we get a Sauron on the board, we get to attack with a 4/4 menace and a 3/3 menace. We have to exile the 3/3 menace at the end of turn, but that's still strong, still a lot of damage, still hard to block. If Sauron is the Ring Bearer, keeping those Wraiths on the board, super, super, super strong. So Sauron's a real powerful way to top off our curve, but we've got some other pretty fun stuff going on here. We've got a lot of amassing of Orc armies, so we can make a really big Orc army and beat our opponent down with it. We can also sacrifice little 1/1 Orc armies for some good abilities like Lash of the Balrogs or Lasher of the Balrogs to sacrifice those armies and blow up some creatures. And we've got some cards that get better when we have Orc armies on the board, like these Snarling Wargs that are going to be 4 mana, 4/4 menaces. Grond the Gatebreaker, that's going to be automatically crewed as long as we have an army on the board. And Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant gives all of our tokens Death Touch, which is mainly just going to be our armies. So a lot of spicy mono black Orc army nonsense going on. A lot of decent removal with Claim the Precious, Double Lash of the Balrog, and some strong late game cards like Sauron and the One Ring to rule them all. So very cool deck for today. We'll see how it plays out for us as we head into the gameplay. Here we are on the play for game 1. Mirror of Galadriel's pretty bad in our opening hand, but I do quite like the March from the Black Gate getting started, so I think I'm going to keep it here, try to scry out of drawing any extra lands with this Haunt of the Dead Marshes. We shall keep the hand and go from there. Our opponent is on the play, and they're going to start with a mountain turn 1. Top card is Swamp number 6, and we are going to slam dunk that thing to the bottom of our library as quick as we can click the button. Mono red so far from our opponent. That'd be really cool if it's mono black versus mono red to start off this draft. Pretty unlikely though. Pretty unlikely. Although Oliphant means they're just going to get a 3rd mountain. Triple mountain. Let's go. Oof. We top deck Swamp number 7 because we put Swamp 6 on the bottom. Our opponent hasn't played any cheap creatures here, so We're doing fine on board. Our hand is just what looks really awkward. So technically, if I just draw non-land cards every turn from this point on, we haven't really lost any steam yet. One ring to rule them all. That's not really going to do anything right now. Okay, so we're going to lose a little bit of steam, but that's fine, because they're still not playing anything. They just have 3 mountains down. If they don't have cheap removal and March from the Black Gate just keeps popping off, then we don't really need to play more creatures, because the ones that we have, at least the Orc Army, is just going to keep getting bigger. And if I don't have anything to do on turn 5, I can just start scrying and drawing a card. There's a Herodream Spearmaster, 2/3 reach, that does some more stuff during combat on their turn. Alright, I get to attack with a 3/3 into that, and then I'll just play my Worm Tongue. And that is a legendary on board, so the Mirror of Galadriel is now just 4 mana. Just scry 1 and draw a card. A little bit easier to do. They're down to 13. They are on red-white, so they were stuck off of their second color this whole time, and that is why they could not play a lot of cards. Here's an Eastmark Cavalier for a 2/2 that can also insta-kill orcs and goblins. So they can just block my army and trade off, no matter how big I make it, which is kind of sad. Haunt of the Dead Marshes is the draw. I could play the 1 ring to rule them all and the Haunt of the Dead Marshes. And I think I'm going to do that, because they don't have any legends on board. So if I make our Orc Army legendary, the next turn, it's a one-sided board wipe here. We keep our Worm Tongue and our Orc Army. How bad do I want to scry 1? I'm going to hold this in my hand since it's just going to blow up anyway. I'd rather be able to play it for just 1 mana than have to spend 3 mana to reanimate it later in the game. So I'm not going to play it into my board wipe. They're just on like red-white aggro stuff. Yep, they got Shadowfax, the Lord of Horses. One thing I'm a little disappointed about is that the cards on Arena don't look exactly the same as they do in paper. Blow up one of my lands? Sure. And in paper, Shadowfax, the Lord of Horses, has the reminder text for what haste does. So everybody was spreading that clip around from the movies where apparently Gandalf says, Shadowfax, show them the meaning of haste. So of course the magic card tells you what haste does. It shows people the literal meaning of haste in this game, which is absolutely hilarious. I thought that was very, very funny. 3 mana to do this right now? Sure, I mean I don't need to claim the precious or anything. Get the swamp to the bottom, draw a card. Draw a 5-drop. Let's scry with our Haunt of the Dead Marshes in hand as well. Scry that swamp to the bottom. I feel like I've dug through like all my lands. This is crazy. There's 3 more on the bottom. 8, 9. Alright, 9 is not all of my lands, but I have done some digging. Alright, they're going to lose a decent amount of life here. They got milled and then lost some creatures. Yeah, they're down to 3. I think that just means they're dead on board, but let's just make it really simple and claim the precious here. And then they're super duper dead. There's the GG. We'll send the GG back and send in. Ooh, draw Golem's Bite. Sure, I guess I discard that since it has an ability in the graveyard. Alright, we'll start things off 1-0 as we head into Game 2. Not the most exciting way to start it. Our opponent was just pretty stuck on mana there, so couldn't establish much of a defense anywhere in the early game. So 1-0 as we head to Game 2. Here we are for Game 2 now. It's a 2-lander, but it's super keepable. We have our best 2-drop in the deck, the Orcish Bowmasters, to start things off. If I hit my 3rd land, Bowmasters into Crebain is going to be nasty. Ooh. You know what? Bowmasters into March from the Black Gate is still pretty good. Ooh, and a 1 toughness creature? Let's go. The ring's gonna tempt them, but that's fine. They won't have any creatures to make their ring bearer. This is beautiful. March from the Black Gate, Amass, attack and Amass again, hit for 4. 4 damage on turn 2 off of the 2-lander right now. They are blue-white, they have not missed a land drop. They drop an Ithilien Kingfisher. And we hit land 3, which is beautiful. All they can do is chump here, so I'm cool with playing the Crebain and just attacking for 1,000,000. 6/6 Orc Army, giving them the business. They're down to 10 now. Rangers of Ithilien, what on earth does this do? They take one of my creatures? Gain control of a creature with a lesser power, and the ring tempts you. If I blow this up, I get my thing back. Okay, that's good. That is good. Whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one in each of their draw steps, it deals the damage, so they won't get the trigger there. I think I'm cool with the trade. Although I might want to just poke them for 1. No, let's get rid of the ring bearer. So they don't have the draw discard ability. Excuse me, well that's a beautiful draw. That makes things simple. I guess I make Bowmasters the Ringmaster. That is definitely not what it's called. The Ring Bearer. That way, it can't be blocked by anything with power 2 or greater. If I make a 7/7 the Ring Bearer, like, it can't be blocked by an 8 or 9 power creature, but I have some bigger issues if my opponent plays an 8 or 9 power creature. Could bite the Prince before they get any stuff off of it, so I think I will do that. Then I just Orcish Medicine for a 1/1 here. I don't need the life gain or anything, so I'm going to do this at instant speed during my opponent's turn, just in case. I don't know what kind of removal blue-white would have that would destroy target creature. It's all going to be exile or pacifisms that Indestructible won't save it from, but there's no reason to sorcery speed the Orcish Medicine. Okay. They scoop them up there because they did get the Birthday Escape draw, and then Bowmasters gets the shoot plus plays another creature, so now I have 2 things that will kill them if they hit, and opponent's over it. They were probably looking for removal for the Bowmasters, because if they don't kill the Bowmasters and they don't have a creature with power 1 or less, then they just can't even block it. They take 1 and die, so scoop them up there. We're going to be 2-0. Really nice stuff from the mono black army deck here. Here we are for game 3. This is a pretty slow hand. We're not going to do anything until turn 4, but our colors are perfect. I think I should mulligan this. This is a lot better. A 1 mana card, a 3 mana card, a 4 mana card, even the Knife Wound. I forgot I kept that in the deck, but I guess playing monocolored, we had to play some filler somewhere. Keep. And I guess I could just get rid of the Knife Wound if I hate it that much. Yeah, I mean, with a 1 ring to rule them all, if they don't just play a bunch of legends on us, we could maybe board wipe. Ooh, and I'm very glad with my decision, because now 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, keep going, and we have a Lash the Balrog if I need a removal spell. Balrog. Okay, attack into the Pathfinder, because if we kill their Mana Dork, that's good. But they're not going to let us kill the Mana Dork. So they're going to ramp up, get to play a 4 mana card this turn. Plus, it's a mana of any color, so make sure they're not stuck on mono green here if they do have a second color. I could Lash this Mana Dork. There's an argument for doing that. I think I'm just going to curve out, though, and play the Worm Tongue. But if we Lash the Pathfinder, then it looks like they're stuck on a mono-colored hand right now, and I highly doubt they're mono-green. Yeah. Might have worked out fine to kill the Vanguard here. If they don't have a combat trick, they just kill the Wormtongue. Don't love that, though. They have no legends on board still, so... we get to the mana for one ring to rule them all. It's going to be great. So, scry into a land, hopefully? Yeah, alright. Play the one ring to rule them all next turn. Which I guess means I don't lash the mana dork, I just let them play out their hand and hope it's not legendary. Pretty unlikely they can blow this up, but there is one green common that can blow up enchantments that I know of. 3 mana, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or flyer. Alright, non-legendary, but... it's going to make something the Ring Bearer, which makes something legendary. So if they have a land in their hand and I play the one ring to rule them all, then next turn they pick what creature they want to not die and it won't die. But then I can just lash the Balrog, whatever's left, so sure. Each player mill 2. Mill the Swamp. One less opportunity for them to have a land. No land in hand, no land in hand. Fingers crossed. These Haunt of the Dead Marshes are going to die anyway, so I'll chump block here to stop the damage, but I don't want to double block because I don't want to kill it. Because then they tempt the ring immediately and they'll have a legend on board to survive the one ring to rule them all. Nasty End. Oh, that's very smart. Okay. Sack it to get the ring to tempt them. That way they can save the Dundane Rangers. Sure. Okay, this Haunt is going to die anyway, so I'll sack it, make them lose one. Cool. And I think I just lash the Balrog, the Vanguard, away to get rid of this Rangers before they play anything else. Get more Temptations of the Ring. I guess I just pick up a Haunt. My extra 3 mana. Maybe I should have sacked the Haunt to it, actually. That would have been fine. Reanimate the Haunt and then sack the Haunt. Could have been better. That's pretty good. Sam's Desperate Rescue, pick up their Ring Tempter. And then we'll blow it up with Lash of the Balrog again. Balrog. I hate how I pronounce the stuff in the set. I'm going to have to decide on a pronunciation for everything and just stick with one. Mordor Muster, that's a good one. Yeah, let's just pick up the Haunt and sacrifice that. Oh my god, we drew Sauron! I don't have the mana for it because I scryed a land to the bottom, but sometimes it just is that way. Take trades into the 1/1 here, but I still want to block her up so that they don't just get a free draw a card, discard a card every turn. I want to be able to just kill this if they send it in. Bane. Well, now it's a 3/3, so I can't kill it if they send in, which means they get a free draw a card, discard a card. I guess it's at the cost of not having a 3/3 blocker up anymore, which is a legitimate cost. okay. Don't want to sack anything. Some Mordor Muster, see if we hit a land, or do I Gothmog? Let's have a 3/3 and buff our 1/1 up to a 2/2. Feels strong. I'm still cool to hold Grima up as my blocker for their 3/3. I don't think I'm going to get to play a Sauron this game. I think they're going to die before I play Sauron, or I'm going to die before I play Sauron. Amass 2. Yeah, Amass 2 is a big deal. It is worth not holding up the 1/4 blocker to counter the Claim the Precious. It doesn't counter it, like my creature still dies, but it stops them from getting the next level of the ring, and it buffs my Orc Army, which is big. Let's make it even bigger. Mordor Muster. Golem's Bite. That's super sweet. I don't think it really matters pre-combat here. But I can post-combat kill the 3/3 if they block my 1/1. It's definitely worth it. Cool. We have emptied their board. They're at 6 life, facing 6 power on the board. There's the Torment of Golems, so they have a 2/2. Oh, and they make us discard Sauron. No. Well, I was right. I'm not playing a Sauron this game. I'm still in the lead, though, so it's all good. Ah. And there's land 5. I could get the draw discard going. I think just reanimating Haunts is fine too, and just scrying. Pretty similar. Yeah, draw and discard and scry would be the exact same thing there. I would just draw that swamp and discard it. Kind of the same as putting it on the bottom of my deck. Land off the top, and they're going to scoop them up. I believe we are now 3-0 with our mono black deck, which is super cool. 3-0 undefeated as we head into round number 4. Here we are on the play for game number 4. The hand's a little bit slow, because I don't really want to play Orcish Medicine as a 2-mana 1/1, but it might. Just to curve out 2, 3, 4, and then I'll have an army out when I play Grond, which is big. They need to play a creature for me to be able to do that, though. So if they don't play a 2-mana creature, I can't play a 2-mana 1/1 Orc Army. Because I have to have a target on the board. Okay. This is weird, but I'm going to do it. I think it's good to get the mana cost out of the way. And get an army out. Make the most of all of our mana here. This way I get my turn 4 Grond. So they curve out with a Battle-Scarred Goblin, which shoots things that block it, and an Errand Rider of Gondor that lets them draw a card, put a card back. This doesn't kill, right? 1 damage each blocking it? Just 3 damage. Alright, cool. Maybe they were trying to get me to double block there. Grond. And that's it. Spiral Blade's pretty good. Shuts off all the abilities of the blocking or blocked creature. Ooh. +1/+1 vigilance to the board. That's a big attack. I can't really block any of that. I do not have the stats to crew Grond. I need 3 power. Which means I do not have good blocks. We'll take 7. Go to 13. Yeah, that's a big one. Indeed. Grond is active again. Grond. Play a Mirkwood Bats. I don't really want to claim the Precious, a 4-3 or 3-3, but I might have to. They're kind of big. If they double block Grand, I only kill one of them with Grand. How much do I amass with Grima? 2 if I sack a legend. So if I claim the Precious and I make my Orc Army legendary and the Ring Bearer, it can get an unblocked for damage, then I can sack it and get a 2-2. If I play Mirkwood Bats and then start doing that, I get extra damage in, but I'm at 13. I think I need to stop some damage right now. I'm going to go for the Claim the Precious line. And they basically can't block here. Because they literally can't block the 1-1, and it would just be a chump block on Grand, and Grand tramples over for a little bit anyway. Kind of racing. We'll see how it works out. I'm not super confident on this one. It's a good card draw spell for our opponent. Discard a land, draw 2 cards, and get a 1-1. Put the Blade onto their Goblin, which doesn't have Vigilance anymore, so they will not have the blocker up. We will take the damage. 2-2 army is better than a 1-1 Ring Bearer army, so I'm going to sack it here to get the attack in next turn. Another land. So I play Mirkwood Bats pre-combat just in case some weirdness happens and they kill my token. Because I could sacrifice the token so that they lose life off of Mirkwood Bat's ability. It's going to be a really tight game here. It's going to be very close. They take it all, take 7. They're down to 6, we're down to 9. We might be about to die to something here. All depends. They've got 6 mana up here. Could be a lot of big things. Eagles of the North. The board gets +1/+0 first strike. That doesn't kill us. Does not kill us. So they have to pass the turn. I don't think I sack anything right now. I'm gonna want to attack. I'm definitely gonna want to attack with Grand. Maybe attacking with the Orc Army isn't great. If I sack the Orc Army right now with Grima, they take 2 damage because they take 1 from Bats. And they take 1 from Grima. Put them to 4. And I could sack something again next turn to put them to 3. I just have to find a way to get 3 damage in by doing that. But there's nothing in my hand that's going to change that. I think I just draw. Yikes. Their best play here, probably double block Grand with a 4-4 and a 1-1. Make it lose all its abilities. They make it lose Trample. I can't do anything with Mirkwood Bats, and my 2-2 could just get blocked by a 3-3. If I attack with Grand and the 2-2, they block Grand with a 4-4 and a 1-1 and just block the 2-2 with a 3-3. So all I can do is send Grand in to trade off with a 4-4 and a 1-1. Guess I could sack Grand to buff the army into 4-4 out of nowhere. Don't think that's fancy enough to matter. Right? Because I mean, that makes it so they block Grand with 4-4-1. When I sack Grand, make this a 4-4. Eats the Eagles. But what happens? They probably have a good block if they see that line still. They go 4-4 and 3-3 there. Maybe Grand isn't even a good attack because they can just go 4-4, 3-3 on Grand. I don't like this at all. They've got 2 more cards in hand. I kind of feel like I have to just pass, but I think we're losing the game if I just pass, but I think we're also losing the game if we send in. They put a 4/4 and 3/3 on Grand, and then they block my army with a 1/1. Alright, they don't have spells in hand, that's a start. Snarling Warg is big. Menacey. Very big deal. Sure, that's another creature, so let's send in. And just see what happens here. We'll have another creature left over. If they do block Grand with like the 4/4 and the 3/3, we kill the 3/3 flyer, and then Mirkwood Bats can get in the future. And we're gonna have a menace creature coming up. Block like this. I just kill the goblin, they kill the orc. This is a fair trade. Soldier of the Grey Host changes that to where they would trade for Grand and kill the orc. So now if I sack Grand, I keep the orc, but they keep the goblin. I think I sack Grand, I gotta kill the flyer. Drop the Snarling Warg. Reprieve. Alright, land Snarling Warg then. Are we dead? If not, I'm pretty sure they are. That's Menace. This is bigger than their flying blocker. I guess they're probably like not quite dead, but all three of our attacks are solid now, which is really, really good. Cool. Oh, if I sack the orc, they'd be... Oh, they're dead on board either way to Grima's ability. What am I talking about? Just go for it. All right. That was really close. Really, really close aggressive matchup there. But we find another victory, and we remain undefeated with our mono black one. Our mono black deck. Super nice. We're now 4-0. Really good record no matter what happens from this point on, but we'll see if we can keep it up as we head into Game 5. Here we go for Game 5. We've got Sauron, which is sweet. But I don't have cheap creatures. I'm gonna get risky with it and keep it and hope that this knife wound is enough to keep us alive in the early game. Now I've got a 1 ring to rule them all as well, so we've got a potential board wipe. Black-white has a lot of legendaries though, and a lot of the ring tempting you and giving you more legendaries. This could be an issue. I'm just gonna sack it for 0 mana and draw a card. That's really cute. Well, we've got an Orcish Medicine, so we've got a 2-mana 1/1 as soon as somebody plays a creature. No one's playing a creature though, so we're just gonna hang out, stare at each other. They've got 4 mana. They do finally play a Protector of Gondor. Sure, let's be a silly little doofus and make a 1/1 for 2 mana. Claim the Precious. Do I want to do that? Not really. Let's just play a 3/4 against the Presence of Gondor, because I also don't really want to board wipe basically 1 card away, which is what I would do right now. They got both of these off 1 card. I like to try to get them to commit more to the board. Well, I can get them to Combat Trick. Yeah, I got plenty of follow-through if they blow up my Warg with something. Golem's Bite. Very nice. Got the removal spell out of the way. Now, if I play 1 ring to rule them all right now... then they just exile Golem's Bite from grave to make one of these legendary. I'm gonna play this Ungol Patrol. I also don't want to play Sauron because I want to play around a Claim the Precious or something. Get them to kill my 4/5 instead first. if possible. Yep. That is not good. Down to 13. Well, that's out of the way, so maybe Sauron resolves. Again, if I One Ring to rule them all, I take 7, and then I only kill a Protector of Gondor and a 1/1, and they keep a 3/3 on board still to beat me down with right now. And I've got the removal for whatever they keep, though. But hoping they just have another creature in hand that Sauron resolves, and then it's also like such a flavor win. If I get to Sauron and then the One Ring to rule them all and use that to make Sauron the ring bearer, like that's super cool. I don't know the lore well, I haven't read the books or watched the movies, but I know that sounds like a flavor win. Ah, oh, come on. Alright. Double Fog on the Barrow Downs means I don't think it really matters what I did here. Luckily I still have my abilities, so the game's not over. Because we're going to get food and we're going to draw a card and stuff. Yikes, another legendary card. Sorry, Sauron. Not much I can do about that. Gothmog's really good. Get to hold my mana up to gain 3, and I get to have a Death Toucher. Gothmog's also legendary to survive the One Ring to rule them all. What is going to be a ring bearer? Protector of Gondor. Okay, I guess they just want to sack it to get an army. This is a little weird. Yeah, I guess they're just going to sack it and make a 2/2 army. Or not? What's going on here? What's going on here? Yeah, sack, make a 2/2. Sure. Gain my life. Well, not yet. Not till the end step. Easterling Vanguard. That is a wide board. I'm at 8 life, though. 8 life, 2 blockers. Oh, I can't gain life because Grima. I always forget that. That's so annoying. I hate random little text lines like that are so easy to forget. Well, finger crossing time. Bowmasters was a really good top deck because that can really ruin their combat math because we'll have 2 more blockers and shoot something for 1. Oh no, I won't have 2 more blockers because I'm amassing onto my army that already exists. Never mind. I'll have 1 more blocker and I'll shoot something for 1. Okay, so play the Bowmasters. Shoot the Vanguard, which makes their army amass larger, but then I block the army with my Death Toucher. Alright, this plays exactly the same. It doesn't matter if my army grows or not, it's still going to be a trade there. Trade there because Bowmasters is not legendary, and since I'm at 4 life against the Wormtongue, I think I need to trade there as well. Which means the One Ring just really does nothing here. I guess I could make this block then. And then just hope they can't have the ring tempt them and make their Orc Army legendary. And have the Orc Army finished off by the One Ring. Yeah, that seems a little better. If the ring tempts them here, it's going to be horrible, but the ring did not tempt them. And now I can just claim the precious Grima, start drawing a card, discarding a card off of our Gothmog every turn. Very, very good. Probably get rid of this knife wound. Oh, March from the Black Gate is the draw. Love that. Love that for us. Get our Death Toucher back on board. Shadow Summoning. Oh god, 2 tapped 1/1 flyers. 1/1 flyers are a big deal. 1/1 flyers are a very big deal. We need to try to outrace them. They kill me in 2 turns whether or not I play a Mordor Muster. Do I play a Mordor Muster then? I might just tap out for Lash of the Balrog on one of them. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to discard this Mordor Muster. I have 7 mana to play Lash of the Balrog and play a Mirror of Galadriel to tap out for next turn. Alright. They're at 8, we're at 4, but we have a March from the Black Gate and Mirror of Galadriel to draw. There's a Grond. Grond will kill them quickly. I'm going to have 2 legends on board for this, which means it costs 3 mana. I can play a Grond and use Mirror of Galadriel post-combat off of the lands I currently have. So that's what we do. They're down to 2 life. Here's Grond. Scry 1 draw card. I have to do it now because Grond is not going to be a creature anymore after that. I will draw a Mirkwood Bats. That is a flying blocker, which is very valuable to me. At 3 life, facing a 1/1 flyer. Good game from our opponent? Is that it? Mono Black does it again. The Mono Black Sauron Dream Team is, what, 5-0 now? This is ridiculous. This is nuts. Black does seem like a really strong color in this format, so if any color could make a powerful mono-color deck, it would be black. So Mono Black 5-0 is where we're at now. In the money if we weren't playing with Monopoly bucks from Wizards of the Coast. So, beautiful draft today. Heading into Game 6 now. Here we are for Game 6 against Mr. Metronome, one of the Lords of Limited. Very nice podcast about drafting Magic the Gathering, if you're interested in that. Which I assume you are, since you're watching videos about drafting Magic the Gathering. So, looking for a new podcast. Highly recommend it. I think I'm just going to get this out of the way again. I am not going to claim the Precious their army. I'm just going to pass. Dunlin Crebain. Army's a 3/3. Now I might claim the Precious it eventually. Snarling Warg still does stuff even if my army dies. And is really good while the army's here, so I think I should probably play Snarling Warg over Grond. Grond is Grond, though. I don't know. Snarling Warg also blocks if they don't amass again, which is a pretty big deal. Another Dunlin. Mass up to a 5/5 army. Big. That is big and juicy. And the Lash of the Balrog to go with all the expendable 1/1s. Huge. Down to 11. Well, now we just need to kill the heck out of that. It's not the most mana efficient thing ever, but can't let him keep a 5/5 down. Take 1. And that's it. Is this the Mono Black mirror match? Or is Metronome just stuck off a color? I can honestly see it either way. I'm going to play the Ungol Patrol because if I play Grond and Metronome has 1 removal spell, Metronome just kills my 1/1 and I don't do anything. Lobelia Sackville Baggins, just a 2/3 menace, but that's pretty good at 10 life. We're down to 7 now. There's Golem, Patient Plotter. Orcish Bowmasters is great against Golem. And Amass is at instant speed. Set up. I think I set up Grond. I use Bowmasters to shoot Dunlin Kerbane and block Golem with my 1/1 Bowmasters. I think that's what we're doing, yeah. And then even if Metronome has removal for Ungol, we can crew Grond with it. Still kind of block. I'm going to play it real safe and hold the Orc Army back. But I don't need to on board. Because on board, I don't think the Orc Army is going to do anything. Just the Kerbane. Let's try to Bowmasters it. And it works. Very nice. Pass the turn. Let's go. Grond is active. Just send Grond in, let them get the trade off. Just Grond and Mirror of Galadriel. Yep. That's what we're doing. Grond and Mirror of Galadriel. To grind out a long game. That's the hopes, that's the dreams, that's the plans. We've got a patrol to give us a food token if we need to gain life. Metronome is 2-color. So we're playing different decks. Probably good. Banish from Adoris. Exile the patrol. Kinda sad. I don't think I'm sacking anything here. Oops, wrong thing. I'll crew a Grond for fun. Yeah, that's pretty good. Should probably take 4 from Golem. Or take 3 from Golem. Doesn't do anything when he hits us, does he? No. Lose 1 creature here. Unless Metronome has the +1/+2 trick. Let's use the mirror. Swamp to the bottom, draw a card. Find a Mordor Muster. I don't think I can afford to shoot myself for 1. Well, Gothmog's a great draw, so I don't have to shoot myself for 1 to hit with Grond. Let's scry and draw a card while I have 2 legends out so that it is 3 mana and I can do it. Alright, well, I guess I play a land as well. 7 life for Metronome, 4 life for us. Could really go either way. Eowyn, Lady of Rohan, gives creatures first strike or vigilance at combat, which is big. First strike on Golem. I think I'm gonna chump with my army and shoot myself with muster next turn. Esquire of the King, sure. Buff the board with +1/+1. Yep, definitely if I hit a land, we gotta just shoot ourselves here for Grond. Easterling Vanguard is the draw, which is great. Metronome at 7. I can send Grond and Gothmog in. Block Trample for 1. Not going to be lethal for sure. Is this 3 mana? I can do this, and that can help decide. Get a Kerbane? Ooh. Get a Kerbane. Don't have the mana to play that and the Vanguard, but Kerbane's going to be another blocker, and my thing's a 3/3. I think I only send in Grond, though, because like if I attack with a 3/3, they block with a 2/4. Alright, Mr. Metronome's at 2. Can Mr. Metronome finish us off, or is the mono-black Sauron Dream Team undefeated? It remains undefeated. We're 6-0, heading into Game 7, which could be the final battle. We could get a full undefeated 7-0 with our mono black deck today. That would be super sweet. We'll see how it goes. We head into the final boss. Here we are for game number 7, what could be the final battle, and we have an excellent opening hand with several 2-mana plays and a 1-drop even. So I am definitely going to keep this hand. We're on the draw as well, so the fact that it's a 2-lander isn't even that risky, because we've got an extra draw step and a scry from Haunt of the Dead Marshes, and we will keep that 3rd land. We've got a great 3-drop with Dunland Crebain, and we've got a sweet 4-mana card with the 1 ring to rule them all. Alright, an instant speed Orcish Bowmasters could go a long way if they try to amass again next turn. However, I guess it's actually still going to be okay, because I just kill the 1/1 and they'd get a new creature with the amass, so it's not like a terrible time for us. They're just going to sack the Shire Terrace? They are just going to sacrifice the Shire Terrace. Grab a forest. They're going to move to pass the turn. We'll try to kill the 1/1. They might have a combat trick here, but that'd be fine. We still get our army. And we would get the combat trick out of their hand if they save their 1/1. Swamp Cycle, a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Alright. Not a combat trick. Spend our 3 mana to drop the Crebain and hit for a ton. Hit for 5 damage on our turn 3 attack. They're down to 13. There's a Mirkwood Bats for 1 nice blocker for our opponent. Can Mortar Muster it? It can still block, but they have to lose life to keep it around. Or, sorry, Morgul Knife Wound it. That feels fine. I don't really think I want a 1 ring to rule them all right now. So let's go Mortar Muster, draw a card, and Knife Wound the Bats. I guess I Knife Wound the Bats post-combat, because if I Knife Wound it now, they could just chump with it and stop more damage that way. You know what, with Golem's Bite in hand, I actually just attack with everybody. And then I Golem's Bite and play Haunt of the Dead Marshes. Because the Bats turns into a 0/1. Yeah, that's ridiculous. They're down to 7. We drop the Haunt and Scry 1. I'm going to put this Vanguard on bottom. Doesn't seem super impactful at this point in the game. Looking for higher mana value plays. They play another Mirkwood Bats, which can block our 4/4. They take 4. They're not quite dead. Drop 1 ring to rule them all. Hit for 4, then... They have to chump this, right? Because if they block here, they take 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they have to chump. So we just let them chump. I'm not even sure what I do with my mana. Oh, they have the trick. The ambush. Hey, so they kill the army. That's a big deal. In that case, then I do just Knife Wound. And now they have to sack that because they're not going to go to 1 to keep it on board. Well, they've got a food token, so maybe they will. Ooh, nasty end to sack it to draw 2 cards. That's pretty good. Oh, but the Bowmasters. That's also pretty good. It triggers off of each of the draws too, even if it was 1 card drawing them 2. That's so nasty. This Bowmasters is great. There's the Meriadoc Brandybuck, which can give them more food tokens if she survives, but I don't think they will. Actually, I don't know. I don't know any of these characters. I am only a Hobbit reader, and I don't remember Meriadoc in The Hobbit. So they're basically at 4. They block this and take 4. I guess I'm gonna just make my Bowmaster the Ring Bearer so they can't kill Bowmaster if they have a trick to survive here. Because they can't block the Bowmaster. Alright, it's just gain 3 block and take 4. And that's gonna do it! A crisp, clean 7-0 run with this absolutely filthy mono black deck. We never got to attack with Sauron. We did get to cast Sauron once or twice, but Sauron was just pacified, so that's a little sad. We didn't get to do that, but we got to do some really, really, really strong stuff with our Orc Army and our Grond. Grond was a huge overperformer. Grond was very important to a lot of those wins. A 5/5 trample got in, I don't know, a lot of the damage that we dealt today. A whole lot of it, so Grond is actually the sweetest. I think I still stand by my decision. I don't think you definitely don't want like 3 Grond in your deck. Not only because it's legendary, but also it makes you very, very committed to constantly having the army on board and stuff. I think drawing multiple Gronds is horrible. And yeah, just having 1 Grond felt pretty great, so I think just 1 Grond is fine. March from the Blackgate. This card's fantastic. This card was an absolute snowball. Just really hard for your opponent to keep up when the Orc Army just keeps getting in. There are some good removal spells in the format, but there's a lot of removal that's just not quite big enough to kill a large Orc Army. So if you get the ball rolling, sometimes you can make things go pretty crazy. So really good stuff from a lot of these cards. Orcish Medicines, just to get a 1/1 army, were really important several times, because we just got that mana cycle out of the way, or got the mana commitment out of the way to get the 1/1 Orc Army, and then we had a 1/1 Orc Army for Grond later, so pretty happy with how I played. I think I played relatively tight pretty much all those games. Definitely helped a lot by the power level of the deck. Not only do we have a bunch of good removal and solid commons, uncommons, but we got a couple great bomb rares. Didn't get to do much with Sauron, but the 1 ring to rule them all helped us win multiple games, as did the Orcish Bowmasters. This thing was ridiculous. So, really fun draft today. Really sweet stuff, but that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons very much for supporting this channel, as well as you for watching the videos. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon in the link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.